from the frozen state of Wisconsin, we have Brendan Brooks.
Good evening.
And good evening to you. And again, I just want to make sure there's no leaks in your doors so that your eyes aren't, glued shut or anything like that. You're okay.
I'm perfectly fine. I'm in Texas right now.
Oh, that's right. You were telling me that brain faded. But anyways, oh, good. So you're in Texas. I was in Indianapolis one year I do video production and I was in a thing and it was -12, just static.
Oh yeah.
Not even the wind chill. And I said, I've got to try it. And frozen snot is something don't ever want to have happen. But it was, at least I tried. I tried. I lasted about like 10 minutes out there. Woo.
Yeah, I've been down here. I had a show down here New Year's, and that kind of started a 2-week tour. Pretty much have done at least one event every single day. And I've actually kind of missed being home, because it's probably going to be one of the mildest Januaries back at home we've had on record. Checking the forecast, they've only had like 2 inches of snow since I left, and it's been 30 degrees, like a lot. Which in January, you get around 20 degrees on that's a warm day in January. Usually it's
shorts and
teens
flip-flops.
Yeah, shorts and flip-flops. And so like Monday when I get home, it's supposed to be 41 and raining, and I'm like, that's fine with me, and where I'm at now, everyone's like, man, you need, how are you outside in a t-shirt? I mean, they're all freezing and bundled up. Like this is spring weather for us.
Well, first of all, I just want to say I love the first line of your bio. It says, I love Jesus. And I don't like writing bios. And I thought, yes, this is the right guy for this show.
Well, I want to keep it real. I want people to know I am a human being. And I do write my own stuff. I'm not, I don't have someone else do it for me. And hey, what are the highlights of Brendan? It's like, you know what? I'm a down to earth guy. You want to come talk to me? Come talk to me. You want to give me a phone call? Give me a phone call. And I like to be real with people and let them know that, I'm not at an elevated status above them because of what I do for a living. So
very good. Well, I am going to just let you go. What would you like to do for us first?
All right. So this is, I think, my third time on Red's Room, and I'm trying to remember the songs I played last so I don't repeat them. But so I got 2 new songs tonight, and this first one is kind of, it's got a really cool backstory to it. I asked people the question, like, what if the Bible was still being written today? Would you be in it? And then, people think like, it's a good question. And if you were in it, would you be a one-liner? Would you be a chapter? Would you have a whole book written about you? Would you be like the prodigal son that was never named? And what character would you be like? Would you be, Judas, who did all these great things, and then what are you known for, your last final act? Or Doubting Thomas is the same way. And I kind of tell people, like, I'd like to be Job, because, Job was that much of a threat to Satan that him and God had a one-on-one conversation about him. Are we doing what we can here on earth that Satan's like, man, I need to watch out for this person, and asking God permission to let me at him, And so the song, it pretty much is that concept. If the Bible was still being written today, what would be said about you, and what is God writing right now in your story? So the song is called Famous. There we go. I haven't played it in a while. Here we go. It's kind of got a little sing-along ditty in the front of it. Here we go. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. Writing history of how you saved my life. Telling stories about how my wrongs turned into right. Looking at you, looking at me, worshiping with all I can be. Glory overwhelming me, eternity is all I can see. Welcome, my son, good and faithful one. I want to be famous. I want to be famous in your eyes. I want to be fearless, telling Satan to stand aside. Want to be heartless when I'm trading yours for mine. I want to be famous, yeah, famous in your eyes. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. Famous in your eyes. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. David, picking up those stones, the giant hit the ground. Moses didn't speak so well, but he led them to their resting ground. Looking at you, looking at me, worshiping with all I can be. Glory overwhelming me, eternity is all I can see. Welcome, my son, good and faithful one. Famous, I want to be famous in your eyes. I want to be fearless, telling Satan to stand aside. I want to be heartless when I'm trading yours for mine. I want to be famous, yeah, famous in your eyes. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. Famous in your eyes. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. Looking back now, I can see all the plans you had for me, to be the man after your own heart. I'll turn the page and start living famous. I wanna be famous, yeah, famous. I wanna be famous in your eyes. I wanna be fearless, telling Satan to stand aside. Wanna be heartless when I'm trading yours for mine. Wanna be famous, yeah, famous in your eyes. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. Famous in your eyes. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. Famous in your eyes. Famous in your eyes. Yeah, sorry about that there. I saw I was peaking a little bit.
Yeah, that's okay. Hey, no, it sounded great. It was just a matter of, I just wanted it to sound even better. Brandon, that's a really cool song. It's neat to think about, what would the first book of Brendan look like? It's like, and he botched this and he did. I'm just kidding. I don't know you well enough to say things like that. But
you're good.
But the idea is, it's like we should live with that level of awareness that it is being all written down. When we stand before God, what does it say? Yeah. And he opened up the books, and somebody's taking notes on us all the time. When we're in public, when we're by ourselves, doesn't matter. Always getting notes, always seeing what we're doing. And how does knowing that affect your life?
Well, if you think about
easy question,
I mean, we know he's always watching. He knows all, he sees all. But a lot of times we just kind of like do our own thing, thinking, no one's going to know. And God's always there. He's always present. He knows the good, the bad, the ugly. And so hopefully, it encourages us to live upright, all the time, and not just, when there's people watching, because God's always watching. And, the only thing I want in life is, for his stamp of approval. Don't really care about man's, and, I want to hear, well done, my faithful son. So, it's kind of only what counts for me in life.
Yep. That's what counts is, what God thinks. And that's so cool. I'm old, sorry, but there's a group called Petra, and they had this great song. I don't want to be a man pleaser. I want to be a God pleaser. And that's how I want to live too. I'm totally on board.
That's pretty funny. I'm actually fairly good friends with the keyboardist from Petra.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway,
does he have a walker? Or?
No, he still plays. And anyway,
that's awesome. Hey, Really quick, Finding Fortress was a band you were involved with. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so I've been writing music for 22 years, and in 2007, a complete stranger called me up, and he was literally calling around to local churches trying to find names of guys that might be interested in joining a band with him. And so in 2007, someone gave him my name and number, and he's like, "Hey, you don't know me, I don't know you. You want to start a band?" I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds pretty fun." And it pretty much was that simple. And so I started, playing. My original music was never meant to be played in front of anybody, but that kind of encouraged me to, introduce some of these songs to the world. And we were together for like 4 years, traveled all across the Midwest, did very, very, very well. We grew very, very popular in a short period of time. There was 4 of us, and unfortunately, we fell apart very hard. And I'm not going to get into the drama, but as a personal member of it, God kept getting squeezed into a smaller and smaller box, and it kept getting more performance-based and less ministry-based. And so when we fell apart, like, there was part of me that just, it longed for, like, I knew I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing, but because doors kept opening up for us, I kept telling myself, it's got to be what God wants. And it turns out that we were just kicking down doors that he never wanted open in the first place. And so we fell apart in like 2011, early 12, and then a few years later, God's like, you got to start doing something with your music again. And so that got me to where I do today, and travel the country playing concerts and worship service for everybody. So
that's cool. And just to let you know, almost every person who's been in a band before, it's, God must really have he has like an extra like storage for mercy for the music people, because we're all a bunch of prideful, arrogant, and it's like we want it our way or the highway, and God just has to keep working and working on us. So yes, I just want to let you know it happens to a lot of people.
Yeah,
don't worry, it's it's probably a better thing.
So now, like every now and then I get to play with a full band, but they're, I've got an amazing group of guys now that I never knew before, we are all really like-minded, and before we weren't all like-minded, we just were in the same geographical area and enjoyed playing together. So
that's good.
It's totally different now.
Oh, that's good. What would you like to share next?
Okay, so this will be, I guess. It's not the first time I played it live, but I just released a song, December 27th. And I got to write this song for a ministry, actually here in Texas, that uses horses for therapy. And I met them a couple years ago. They found me online, and they were traveling all across the country doing good old-fashioned tent revival services. And they found me online and were looking for a worship leader for an event, and then turned into, hey, writing a song for the ministry. So the song is called Healing Has Come, and it is pretty much all over any digital format right now. You can find it, and here we go. So it's got some horse elements to it, but it's anyone that's down on the dumps and hurting right now, it's for you.
Come all you hurting and broken-hearted, all those who lost someone, with all your wounds and scars. Powerful and mighty, but soft as a glove, these gentle giants will lead you to the cross. There are angels here at the arena, breaking down these walls and busting chains, connecting souls and hearts to the one who can save. Release your burdens to the Holy One. Gather everyone, your healing has come. You say you're fine, and by life is just great, but deep inside your Torah, you've lost all your faith. Grab the reins and hold on tight for the ride of your life. This horse will take you to the other side. There are angels here at the arena, breaking down these walls and busting chains, connecting souls and hearts to the one who can save. Release your burdens to the Holy One. Gather everyone, your healing has come. Healing has come. At the foot of the cross, come lay your burdens down. Look in their eyes, you will finally figure out. There are angels here at the arena, breaking down these walls and busting chains, connecting souls and hearts to the one who can save. Release your burdens to the Holy One. Gather everyone, your healing has come. My peace I leave you, my grace I give. Come all you lost and weary, just come as you are.
Brendan, healing has come, man.
Yeah.
Good song.
Good deal.
I like that. It was funny. I had to step out for a second. When I came back, it's like, hey, wait a second. Where's the band? That was a good track.
Oh,
but anyways, that is so good. And I tell you what, every time people share songs on Red's Room, there is so much behind those songs, so much story, so much, like there's more than just the words. And I know that. And I just really quick the healing part of being a Christian, sometimes it doesn't come right on time. And we were saying this the other night when I was hosting, and I just need to say it again. It's like God's healing is coming. It may not be right, like in the next moment. A lot of people want things now, and like, I want my ice cream now. It's like, no, sometimes you have to wait. And it's just, healing has come for a lot of us. And yet some of us are waiting. And for those that are waiting, just hold fast. Don't give up, because it's coming. And around the corner, you're gonna get what God wants you to have. It's just that simple. It's hard, but it's that simple.
Yeah, and people think that, he doesn't answer their prayers then. Well, yes is an answer, no is an answer, not yet is an answer. And a lot of times we do not like the no's and not yet. But it doesn't mean he's not answering.
Yeah. Well, that was a just good stuff. Good stuff. Let's see. I got all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. What do
you were born and raised in a very rural area. Okay. Were you like getting eggs and cleaning, the horse patties out of the barns, or what are you talking about? Very rural area.
I still do that. Okay, so where I'm from, we do not know what traffic lights are. We do not know what 4 lanes are. We do not know what traffic jams are. Rush hour, that means nothing to us. Our traffic.
That's when
jams,
3 horses are stacked up, and
yeah.
And one has to stop to take care of it.
We live in an Amish community, and so if you get stuck behind an Amish buggy and you can't pass because there's a tractor coming the other way, that's just the way it is. I grew up in the country, and our hometown was 700 people, and I've upgraded. I now still live out in the country, but my official town now is only like 302. So there's a post office and a really old school grocery store. You walk in, you're like, man, this stuff's got to be expired by 10 years. But yeah, I love it there. So you go outside at night, you can see all the stars, and you hear, the closest neighbor really to us is a mile away, and absolutely love the peace and quiet.
Mm.
So.
You're
soaking it in right now.
Yeah, I grew up in South LA, and I was inundated with traffic and with stuff to do and places to go and things to see, and I'll tell you the other thing is the church density in your little town of 302 probably isn't anywhere near the church density around my house. Probably we could draw the same circle around your house and my house, and there's got to be 40 churches where you'd have like a pair. So
yeah,
but that's neat, because that way people know you. You're able to be real, like you said at the beginning, hey, I'm me, just come, if you want to talk to me, don't worry, I'm me, I'm just a guy. And that's so cool. And I love people that do come from smaller towns, because they tend to be not unreal. I'll leave it at that.
I get it. Too many people, and I learned that very early on in our band, because we did a lot of pretty big shows. And, people were always coming up to us, begging for autographs, just like, oh, I can't believe you're, no, and it was too much, just like, come here, give me a hug, let's talk. What's your name? And so I've implemented a lot of that stuff, in a solo career. And, I tell people, like, I've opened up for Toby Mac, and their jaw hits the floor, and they're like, whoa, you must be famous. It's like, no, I'm just Brendan. Just. Oh.
Well, my goodness. What would you like to share next?
What would I like to? So this is a fairly new song of mine, and it's becoming mine and one of my family's favorites. But I was on the West Coast, I think twice last year. And one time I was helping out at a little Christian music festival in Washington. And the first day, I was sitting around a table with some other artists that were playing there, and this young gal came up to the table and asked if she could play cards with us. And she jumped right in. She was 17 years old. Turns out that her dad was preaching at this festival, and also he played guitar and was going to do some workshops on worship. And he did a lot of stuff like overseas in Israel and all over the world, actually, and traveled a lot. And well, the fourth day of the event, mornings nothing was happening, and I was in this big pole shed, and I thought I was by myself, and I was writing some new music, and this is what I was writing. And this young gal came in, and she said, "What you doing?" And I said, "Oh, writing some new music." And she's like, "Well, can I hear it?" And the song was not ready to be heard by any ears, but I said, "Sure, why not?" And I had my laptop in front of me, and there was a lot of lyrics that had to be taken out yet and weeded through and smoothed over. But I started playing the song, and I got through the first verse and first chorus, and I looked over at her, and she's trying to hold back tears, and then I start singing the second verse. And usually, like, after I write something, then I really will go back, dissect it, make sure everything scripturally sound and is polished up nice. And I hadn't been able to do that yet, but as I'm singing it, like I'm watching her, and she just starts crying right in front of me. And by the end, I got done, and I'm like, well, was it any good? And she's full of snot then, but a typical 17-year-old, her response was, well, duh. And but what I realized, and what we had a little talk about afterwards, was how being that her parents were who they were, and she was the oldest of 7 kids. And she was expected to be somebody anywhere we went, or anywhere they went. And she had to act a certain way, talk a certain way. And her childhood kind of got, I don't want to say squashed. She really enjoyed what her parents did, but she didn't get to experience a lot of things that a typical teenager would be able to. And so afterwards I polished up the song, and now it's in my head all the time now. The song is called You Ain't Nothing. I know there's 2 negatives there, but 2 negatives equal a positive. At least that's what they taught me in 5th grade or whatever grade it was. And so, the world calls us Christians crazy and nobodies and anything nowadays. But we're priceless to God. And so that's what the song talks about. So here goes, You Ain't Nothing.
You've been told that you are good for nothing. Your past mistakes still haunt you. You don't fit in with the in crowd, and your presence seems to always disappoint. Let me tell you this one truth. Yeah. You ain't nothing but a child of the King, a souvenir from heaven. Your royalty, you are priceless, an unrivaled jewel, wanted by a holy King. You ain't nothing. You ain't nothing. You feel your hair ain't right, have the wrong color of eyes, your body looks like a mistake. Well, he knitted you in the womb, sees you in the darkness of your room. He wants to show you what he's done. Let me tell you this one truth. You ain't nothing but a child of the King, a souvenir of heaven. Your royalty, you are priceless, an unrivaled jewel, wanted by a holy King. You ain't nothing. You ain't nothing. They say 2 negatives make a positive. I know that it's true. You've been told you're worthless, amount to nothing. But right now I am telling you, you ain't nothing but a child of the King, a souvenir from heaven. Your royalty, you are priceless, an unrivaled jewel, wanted by a holy King. You ain't nothing. You ain't nothing. You ain't nothing. You ain't nothing.
Wow.
All right.
I can see why that girl, wanted to be something. Then she realized it's okay because God thinks you're everything. And you ain't nothing.
You ain't nothing.
I know at first I was thinking, what do you mean you ain't nothing? Oh,
yeah.
there's something. Okay.
It was so funny because I played that a few times here in Texas, and I got schooled the other day. Well, kind of. So I played at a church. I guess it was last Sunday, and the pastor and a few of his friends they took me and my family out to dinner or lunch, and one guy's like, "Man, what do you said 8 in that song, didn't you?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "You ain't allowed to say that. You're a Yankee." And I'm like, "What?" Like, I think we're allowed to say ain't. I don't know. It must be in the dictionary now. But he said, you know what you need to do? He's like, if you're going to be down here and sing that song, we say y'all ain't nothing. And this is the second time a Texan has told me to change the lyrics of my song. And so he's like, man, anytime you do that, you got y'all ain't nothing. And so I got 4 kids, and so we've been joking about it. And I'm like, I just can't do it. I can't do it, But anyway, moving on.
Well, we do have time for one more song. What would you like to end your set with?
Okay, so I'm gonna mellow things out a little bit, and let's see. Earlier in 2022, I was on the West Coast again, and this time I was in Oregon. Sorry, Oregon, for anyone out there. Sorry, Red. You know, in the Midwest we say Oregon because it's with an O, but out there they say Oregon. And I had a day off on my trip, and anytime you get anywhere close to the oceans, you go. And so my plan was to go to the ocean for the day and sit down with a chair on the beach and write some new music. Well, the day I picked was horrible. It was 35 degrees and spit and rain. And yeah, I said that was pretty nice earlier, but if you're going to sit outside, on the beach, you kind of want it to be, 60, 70. Even for Oregon, that's pretty nice. But and so I was sitting at the beach, and I was sitting in my car because it was raining, and then all of a sudden the rain stopped for a minute, and I walked down. And if you've never been to the Oregon coast, it is water, and then a lot of it's sheer cliffs. And the place I went, I looked over along this rock bluff, and there was this cave that was carved out right on the beach. And so I went and grabbed my guitar, went in there. And so I stayed out of the rain and out of the wind, and I sat there for a couple hours, and the ocean was right there. But I started thinking about Psalms chapter 139, and this is the chapter where it says God knows, He perceives your thoughts from afar. He knows when you're going to lie down and when you're going to awake. He knows the amount of hairs on your head, and He knits you in your mother's womb. And there's a section in there that says He has more thoughts for you or us than the grains of sand. And so I grabbed a handful of sand, and I'm like, I'm not even going to try to count these things. And that's how precious we are to God. And then look around, and it's like, this world is covered with millions and millions and billions of grains of sand. That's how precious we are to God. So the song is called Only You Can Save. And if you are listening, feel free to close your eyes and just enjoy it, and picture you're on some beach somewhere, and it's 85 degrees, and all you can hear is the waves and maybe a seagull here and there.
Like the sand along the shoreline, know the thoughts you have for me. Your love for me is greater than the depths of the sea. You called me out of the miry clay, then you washed my hands and feet. I'm reminded of your faithfulness as I walk along the shore. Your mercy's new with every morn, and behind each closed door. Your beauty in the sunset, beyond the crashing waves. And I'm reminded that only you can save. You have my heart and hold it in the palm of your hands. With every waking breath, upon this rock I'll stand. You called me out of the miry clay, then you washed my hands and feet. I'm reminded of your faithfulness as I walk along the shore. Your mercy's new with every morn, and behind each closed door. Your beauty in the sunset, beyond the crashing waves. And I'm reminded that only you can save me from myself. There is no one else who loves me like you do, and I owe my life to you. I'm reminded of your faithfulness as I walk along the shore. Your mercies new with every morn, and behind each closed door. Your beauty in the sunset, beyond the crashing waves. And I'm reminded that only you can save. Yeah, I'm reminded that only you can save.
I have, let's see. Yes, I did. I posted Brendan Brooks music on the Facebook.
There you
go. What is next for you? Are you still on tour right now?
I got a church I'm playing at in the morning, and then I go home for about 10 days, and then I head to Africa on a mission trip. Me, my wife, and oldest daughter, and since I've been on this trip, I've been booking stuff for this year, so I'm already up to 40, 50 events outside of my normal Sunday morning worships when I'm at home. Wow. So yeah, I'm nearing probably 100 events already for the year, and it'll just keep filling in from there. So, but yeah, so I want to tell everybody, yes, I am from Wisconsin, and most people are probably not from there, but I do travel the country from east to west coast, and I will hit 20, 30 states in a year. And so if you do want me to come, just reach out to me through Facebook, through my website. I'll fit you in somewhere. So I'll be hitting the West Coast, East Coast, South, and on these tours, and would gladly. I mean, even if it's 10 of your friends in your living room. I love those home shows, and especially you say, hey, we're gonna have a backyard barbecue. All right, I'll be there. So that's what's next for me. I'd go through the rundown, but it's way too much to start. Look at my website.
You got it. Everybody, Brendan Brooks. There's no E in Brooks, by the way. Brendan Brooks from Wisconsin. Thank you so much for sharing. That was beautiful.
Thank you.